There are moments in life that feel impossible to explain. Moments when you can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. Moments when your phone is full of contacts, your days are filled with conversations, and yet, deep inside, there's a quiet ache that never seems to leave. Maybe you know that feeling. Maybe you're carrying it right now. And if you are, I want you to stay with me for a few minutes, because what you are feeling is not what it seems. Sometimes loneliness does not arrive like a storm. It arrives softly. It sits beside you in silence. It follows you through ordinary days. It waits for you in the early morning before the world wakes up. It appears at night when the distractions fade and there is nothing left to hear except your own thoughts. And little by little, it starts telling you stories. Stories that sound true because you have heard them so many times. It tells you that nobody understands you. It tells you that everyone else has found their place while you are still searching. It tells you that you are somehow disconnected from the rest of the world. Different, forgotten, invisible. The strange thing is that loneliness can be very convincing. It knows exactly where your wounds are. It knows which memories still hurt. It knows which fears keep returning. And because it speaks in your own voice, you often believe every word it says. But there is something important you need to know. Just because a thought feels true does not mean it is true. Right now, somewhere in the world, another person is sitting alone in a quiet room, wondering if anyone understands them. Another person is questioning their worth. Another person is looking at their life and wondering why they feel disconnected from everyone around them. They may never meet you. They may never know your name. Yet they are carrying the same invisible weight. Think about that for a moment. The feeling that tells you that you are completely alone is being experienced by. Yet, deep down, there is still a part of you that hopes. A part that still wants to be seen. A part that still wants someone to look beyond the surface and say, I understand. That part of you has never disappeared. It has simply been waiting. One of the greatest misunderstandings about connection is the belief that it begins with other people. We think connection happens when the right person arrives, when the right friendship appears, or when someone finally understands our story. But real connection begins somewhere else. It begins within. Because if you spend every day running from yourself, no amount of external connection will feel complete. If you constantly judge your own emotions, reject your own experiences, or ignore your own needs, you create separation inside yourself. And that inner separation often feels like loneliness. You see, there's a difference between being alone and being disconnected. Being alone is a physical condition. Being disconnected is an emotional one. You can be physically alone and feel deeply connected to life. You can sit quietly by yourself and feel peace. You can walk through an empty park and feel connected to the sky above you, the ground beneath you, and the countless lives moving through the world alongside yours. At the same time, you can be surrounded by people and feel completely disconnected. The difference is not the number of people around you. The difference is the relationship you have with yourself. When was the last time you sat quietly without trying to escape your thoughts? When was the last time you listened to yourself with compassion instead of criticism? When was the last time you treated yourself with the same kindness you would offer someone you love? Many people spend years waiting for others to give them the understanding they refuse to give themselves. And that waiting can become exhausting. Maybe what you need right now is not another distraction. Maybe what you need is not another. There's a quiet presence that has been there all along. A presence that remains when everyone leaves. A presence that remains when life becomes confusing. A presence that remains through every success, every failure, every beginning, and every ending. You may not notice it often because the world is loud. Your mind is loud. Your worries are loud. But underneath all that noise, something steady remains. And when you begin to notice it, something remarkable starts to happen. You stop feeling abandoned by life. You stop believing that your worth depends on who stays or who leaves. You stop searching desperately for proof that you matter. Because you begin discovering something deeper than approval. Something deeper than validation. Something deeper than attention. You begin discovering your own presence. And that discovery changes the way you experience loneliness forever. Because the moment you reconnect with yourself, you realize that even in your quietest moments, you are not as alone as you thought. The moment you begin to reconnect with yourself, a subtle shift takes place. Nothing outside may change immediately. The same room surrounds you. The same responsibilities wait for you. The same unanswered questions may still exist. Yet something feels different. The emptiness that once seemed overwhelming begins to soften. Not because every problem has disappeared, but because you're no longer facing life as a stranger to yourself. For so long, many people believe that peace will arrive when loneliness ends. They think peace is waiting somewhere in the future, hidden behind the right relationship, the right opportunity, or the right circumstance. But life has a way of teaching a deeper lesson. Peace does not come from escaping loneliness. Peace comes from understanding it. Loneliness often appears as an enemy, but sometimes it is a teacher in disguise. It slows you down when you've been running too fast. It reveals wounds you have ignored. It exposes needs you have buried beneath endless distractions. It shows you where you have abandoned yourself in the pursuit of approval, acceptance, or belonging. And although those lessons can be uncomfortable, they're also incredibly valuable. Think about some of the most important moments in your life. Chances are they did not happen when everything felt easy. They happened during periods of uncertainty, during moments of questioning, during seasons when you felt lost and alone. Growth rarely announces itself with excitement. More often, it arrives disguised as confusion. You may be living through one of those seasons right now. If you are, I want you to hear this carefully. You do not need to have all the answers today. You do not need to know exactly where your life is going. You do not need to solve every problem before allowing yourself to breathe. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is simply stay present, to remain here, to trust this moment, to trust yourself. The truth is that nobody Every human being experiences moments of doubt. Every human being searches for meaning. When you realize this, you begin to see others differently. The stranger walking down the street may be carrying grief. The person smiling in a photograph may be struggling silently. The friend who seems strong may be longing for understanding. Everyone is carrying something. And suddenly, the world feels less divided. You begin to recognize that beneath our different stories, we share many of the same fears, hopes, and dreams. We all want to belong. We all want to feel seen. We all want to know that our existence matters. This realization creates a quiet form of connection, not the kind that depends on constant conversation or physical closeness. A deeper connection, a recognition that you are part of something much larger than yourself. You are part of humanity. You are part of life itself. The same sun rises above you and above countless others. The same stars appear in the night sky for people across the world. The same emotions move through different hearts. The same desire for love exists in countless souls. You are far more connected than loneliness would have you believe. Sometimes connection appears in unexpected ways. It appears through a kind word from a stranger, through a book that seems to understand exactly what you are feeling, through a quiet moment in nature, through music that reaches places inside you that language cannot touch. Life is constantly reminding you that you belong. The reminders are often gentle, easy to miss, but they are there. A cool breeze on a difficult day, a sunrise after a sleepless night, a moment of laughter when you least expect it, a feeling of calm that appears for no obvious reason. These moments may seem small, yet they carry an important message. You are not separate from life. You are part of it, and life has not forgotten you. There may still be days when loneliness returns. There may still be evenings. Healing is not about never feeling lonely again. Healing is about changing your relationship with loneliness. Instead of fearing it, you learn to listen. Instead of running from it, you learn to sit beside it. Instead of allowing it to define you, you allow it to teach you. And each time you do, its power begins to fade. Because loneliness thrives in resistance, but understanding dissolves it. Over time, you discover that the connection you were searching for was never completely absent, that it was simply hidden beneath layers of fear, distraction, and self-doubt. It was waiting patiently beneath the noise, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to come home to yourself. And when that happens, something beautiful unfolds. You stop measuring your worth through the eyes of others. You stop chasing validation that never truly satisfies. You stop believing that your value depends on how many people understand you. Instead, you begin standing on something deeper, a quiet knowing, a quiet trust, a quiet certainty that your existence has meaning, even when life feels uncertain. Because it does. You're not here by accident. Your presence matters. Your story matters. Your struggles matter. Even the parts of yourself that feel unfinished matter. Especially those parts. They are not signs of failure. They are evidence that you are growing. Evidence that you're learning. Evidence that you are alive. And perhaps that is the message you were meant to hear today. Not that loneliness will never visit again. Not that life will suddenly become easy. But that you are stronger than the stories loneliness tells. You are more connected than you realize. You are more loved than you know. And even in moments when the world feels distant, even in moments when silence surrounds you, even in moments when your heart feels tired, there is still something quietly holding you. Life itself, breath by breath, moment by moment, day by day, you are being CA.